Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. I feel devotion.
In this episode, the game of the week rocks with a great matchup between two EuroLeague basketball forces. Bwin MVP for December, Maciej Lampe and Caja Vitória want to surprise. Bobby Brown is becoming the Bwin Weekly MVP king, leading Montepaschi Siena. Last but not least, the show goes wild with the top 3 plays of the week. For Anadolu Efes star Jordan Farmer, just a few EuroLeague games last season opened his eyes wide to a new kind of basketball devotion.
I actually got to experience it for myself. I wasn't aware of the quality of basketball that was being played over here. And then to see the way the fans and just the basketball community around the world is so passionate about the game. Every game is like its last. The fans are crazy and they're really supportive. It's just a great feeling to feel that you're a true sportsman, and then really people take it seriously out here.
Now in his first full season, Farmer ranks among the EuroLeague's top players in scoring and assists, some of which he feeds to longtime teammate Sasha Vujacic.
It was nice coming here and having somebody who had been here already a year, but it was also familiar with me and my family, and we had a comfort, bubble a little bit, so to speak.
Together, the two-time former NBA champions now have their eyes on a brand new prize.
Every time we step on the floor, we're going to try to win and put our best foot forward. And the EuroLeague title, at the end of the day, is what we want. We want to win the EuroLeague, advance as far as possible, and hopefully hang up a banner at the end of the year.
The Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Basketball Game of the Week featured Anadolu Efes against Panathinaikos Athens in a much-needed test for both sides. The Turkish are going through ups and downs this season in EuroLeague, but they still have Final Four potential, and they were eager to prove it. Meanwhile, the Greens arrived without their leader Dimitris Diamantidis, who was forced to sit out through injury, and coach Agiris Pedoulakis wanted to know how his team could handle a game against a top team without him. Michael Bramos tried to be the benchmark his team needed. He scored 15 points in a row between the first 2 quarters. When he ended his scoring fest, Panathinaikos was down by 6. Anadolu Efes played one of the most consistent games of the season. The hosts took a double-digit lead relying on their shooters. Vujacic then gave his team a 21-point lead, ending a 12-0 run in the third quarter, 53-32. At that point, the game became a one-sided contest until the very end, as Anadolu Efes finally won 78-64 to record their first success in this new top 16, behind the player of the game, Dusko Savanovic.
First of all, you have to protect your own court, try to win every game on your own court. That's how we try to do.
The former Valencia forward scored 12 points with only 4 attempts from the field, landed all of his 4 free throws and grabbed 4 rebounds in 23 minutes to receive an index rating of 18.
I can consider myself lucky because I'm surrounded with all 12 players who can score, who can pass, who can dribble, to do everything. So I'm just one of them. I didn't do nothing special tonight, just fell as a part of the good system.
Let's move to Russia, from Group E to Group F, and to an historical event. BC Khimki Moscow region hosted SC Barcelona Regal in another great test for the Russians, who want to prove they belong amongst Europe's best. Rimas Kurtanaitis' team managed a great performance at both ends, showing that it could take care of business in front of a true force in the competition to back up last week's win at Besiktas Istanbul. Quarter by quarter, play by play, Khimki built a great performance, reaching the double-digit lead after 22 minutes, then their biggest margin 76-59 with 4 minutes to go thanks to leading scorer Zora Planinic. He hit 16 points, serving 6 assists to eventually win 78-65. Defeating FC Barcelona Regal was that historical event we were talking about. In fact, the Blaugranas lost its last top 16 game almost 3 years ago. It was February 3rd, 2010, when Partizan defeated Barca 67-66. It was the last setback before 17 wins in a row at this stage of the competition. During the game, there was another meaningful moment when Petteri Koponen took his team 14 points ahead. While he did not have a big impact in the regular season, the Finnish EuroLeague basketball rookie is ready to go for it in the top 16 and to accomplish his childhood dream.
My goal always was, to become a professional basketball player and try to reach as high as possible. And now, playing in EuroLeague is one of the dreams, to come true. And of course, it was my goal since I went to start to play, basketball as professional.
Now at 24, Petteri hopes to stay at the top for as long as possible. But he must thank the people who believed in his talent during those early years. And he was a young prospect in his home country, Finland.
I think I was pretty lucky too. I had a coach in Finland who trusted me and gave me the opportunity to play a lot and give me the chance to play starting point guard in Finland and not take American point guard, and gave me the chance to improve my game. And I think it was one of the main reasons why I'm now here and playing this level.
After meeting his fellow countrymen Teemu Rannikko and Sasu Salin when Himki faced Union Olimpia Ljubljana in the regular season, Petteri is now the only Finnish player in the league, which is a further responsibility for him. Should he and his team perform well, he could help the growing interest in EuroLeague basketball in his native country.
And I think this year more people are gonna follow EuroLeague and try to see how our teams are gonna do. And like I said, for sure, I hope it's gonna help the Finnish basketball to grow up. The people start to follow basketball more, and maybe it's gonna help to bring more basketball players in Finland.
Petteri Koponen left Italy to obtain a EuroLeague basketball opportunity, while Montepaschi Siena's Bobby Brown moved there for the same reason. Last Friday was the moment of truth for him, meeting former Siena leader Bo Mikaleb and his Fenerbahce Ulka Istanbul in Turkey. It was possibly the best game of the season. High scoring, great talent on the court, the meeting among good old friends. After 2 balanced quarters, the host escaped to 69-58 with 3 of Bojan Bogdanovic's 31 points in what was his new career high. Siena started the comeback thanks to Victor Sanikidze, who also set his career high with 19 points. Bobby Brown knew that he was, perhaps, the most anticipated man of the night. And he was ready. Brown reached a performance index rating of 50, the 6th best in competition history, second in any top 16 game, becoming the bwin MVP of the week for the 3rd time this season. Like Carlton Mayers and Alfonso Ford in 2000-2001 and Kaspars Kambala the following season, he tied the competition's all-time single-game record with 41 points, setting a new record in a top 16 game. The best scorer of the season so far made 13 of 13 free throws, shooting 8 for 12 on 2-pointers and 4 for 6 on triples, adding 7 assists that made him the competition leader and drawing 12 fouls, with some crucial plays in the clutch time. Then he gave a full possession lead to his side, helped by Thomas Ress, and then finished the job with a dunk for a final score of 98-92. The unbelievable performance from Brown is the best in an unforgettable comeback road win for Montepaschi Siena. On November 29th, Caja Laboral Vitoria was very close to ending its Turkish Airlines EuroLeague run for this season, with a record of 1-6 and being dominated at home by Omar Cook's EA7 Emporio Armani Milan that led by 17 points. That night, the team finally displayed an amazing group spirit and kick-started an impressive regular season end to qualify for the top 16. Now, Vitoria's world has changed. Omar Cook has recently joined the team, and Caja Laboral went to Tel Aviv with a series of 4 wins, including top 16 Game 1 against Olympiacos. Since Zan Tabak arrived as head coach, it looks as if everything has changed in the players' minds. Even Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv noticed the change and expected a big game against the Spanish side at the Nokia Arena. The German big man Tibor Pleiss is one of the fresh faces that Vitoria's management hired last summer to build a new, young international core. Arriving from Brose Baskets Bamberg, he knows what EuroLeague basketball is made of, but he was yet to prove he can make it with a top team.
I think for me this was really important to make the next step, and I think that is the point of why I was going to Caja Laboral.
Tibor faced an uphill struggle to break into the team early in the season due to illness. Now he is trying to find his role in the team system. He can rely on a coach who, back in the 90s, was a great centre, and also in his impressive front court teammates who can drive him on to improvement.
I think that will help me. I have to learn something. That is why I'm here. I made the steps to learn some things, to be a better player in some years. And I'm really happy to be in a really good team.
Pleiss is now getting the playing time he wanted, displaying his shot blocking and defensive skills. He looks like he knows exactly what he's doing. And what is certain is that he knows what he wants.
Now I want to be in the top 16, to play, to feel the spirit, to be under the top 16, and for sure then will be our goal to be in the Final Four.
The game in Tel Aviv turned into a dramatic one. The visitors looked very comfortable in front of one of the most passionate crowds in the world, and Pleiss set up their biggest lead with a dunk early in the third quarter. Vitoria was up 46-32, playing with great confidence and efficiency, but they did not see the storm coming. Maccabi Electra scored a massive comeback run, 21-1, featuring 9 points by Ricky Hickman, and that was when Caja Laboral had to show what they were made of. Early in the season, they would have folded. On Thursday, they responded. Vitoria scored 6 3-pointers in that very last quarter, 3 of those coming from the leading scorer Nemanja Bjelica, who finished with 17 points. Then, in a heart-stopping final minute, Fernando Sanemeterio hit the decisive basket for a 71-70 victory on the road, as Vitoria remain undefeated after 2 top 16 games. It is the only fitting way to honour Mazier Lampe's recent performances. Caja Laboral's big man has been rewarded as the Bwin MVP for December after he led his team to a perfect record. He also averaged around 17 points per game in 23 minutes during that period. That game against Olympiacos remains the highlight of his season until now. On December 27th, he set his EuroLeague career high with 25 points in just 26 minutes played, attaining a well-deserved personal award.
Follow us on Twitter at EuroLeague.
#IFeelDevotion. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at ThatDude12.
And you can follow me on Twitter at RHSmooth03.
Switching from Group F to E, there we find another red-hot Spanish team, Real Madrid. Coach Pablo Lasso and his team never let go of control in their road game at Brøndby Baskets Bamberg. After taking the early lead, ending the first quarter with an unusual triple by Felipe Reyes, the Blancos were always up, arriving at a 12-point advantage with a layup from Sergio Llull to make it 38-26. After the break, Brose, led by Bostian Nakbar, reduced the gap to 4 points. But against this Real Madrid, there was little that could be done to stop them. Sergio Rodriguez and JC Carroll closed the job, 82-67. Nikola Mirotic was the leading scorer for his team with 19 points in 22. He also grabbed 8 rebounds and finished the game with a performance index rating of 26. The two-time Turkish Airlines EuroLeague basketball rising star Mirotic is on his way to becoming a huge star in the old continent. While he's still young, only 21 years old, Mirotic is a well-built player who has been scoring and making big plays on a regular basis. He has made progress over the past 2 years since he burst onto the scene in Siena, when he scored 16 points in an unbelievable comeback win at Montepaschi in a top 16 game.
That game gave me confidence and a desire to work even harder. You can see that game was where I really took off, because since then positive things have always happened.
Mirotic needed some help on his way to substantially improving his game. If he can call himself a major player now, he has to give credit to the great coaches he has worked with.
Ettore Messina helped me, and he taught me to feel important and to have confidence in myself. Pablo Lasso is also teaching me a lot. He's given me confidence, and he's helped me get the best out of myself every day. But I also know that I can still improve.
Of course, in such a legendary team like Real Madrid, which he joined as a teenager and where he starred in the youth teams, he had some great role models to watch and to steal some tricks from. Sometimes a charismatic teammate can teach you more than a coach.
When I arrived at Real Madrid, I was playing in the youth team, and I always watched Felipe Reyes. I always hoped to be able to play with him, and when I got into the first team at a very difficult stage, he was the one to help me, to support me.
Mirotic and his Real Madrid seem to be on the right road to making their dreams come true. After a Final Four experience in common in 2011, both are now asking for more.
The most important thing is to keep the same mentality and the unity of the group, especially in difficult times, to always have the desire to grow together. I think this team has what you need to play in the Final Four.
Nosotros estamos trabajando, de momento las cosas no están saliendo bien.
While Real Madrid continue to impress, a team full of former players from the Spanish league is trying to do the same. Marko Popovic of Zalgiris Kaunas was the dark horse of the regular season, and now they have to prove it did not happen by chance. To do that, you need work and dedication, and a true love of the game, which Marko learned from his father, Petar, a great former shooter.
I remember him playing very well because my mom took me to the game first time when I was 3 months old, and since I walked in the gym from that time, I never left it, so basketball is basically my blood.
There is nothing strange in hearing that a basketball family led a young boy to become a basketball player himself. More than that, this is a key to measure Popovic's passion for the game.
This is my life, and not only my father that is playing basketball, that used to play basketball, also my two cousins, Alan Grego and Arian Komazec. Both of them participated in the Olympic Games when they won a silver medal in Barcelona.
Since those days, Popovic has been cultivating his own basketball dreams, which led him to achieve success across the continent after leaving his hometown Zadar in 2003, once he realized the dream to be a part of his father's team.
That dream came true, but after some time, I had to make another step in my career. I was looking forward to it, and this is where I am right now.
Last Friday, he was in the side that defeated Unicaja Malaga 75-63, taking their first top 16 win. While Mindaugas Kuzminskas set his new career high with 14 points, Marco added 10 in only 21 minutes. As Žalgiris did in the regular season, the Lithuanian team also wants to be amongst the very best at this stage. Now let's take a look to the top 3 plays of the week.
Number 3, Kaunas Lithuania. Zoran Dragic of Unicaja Malaga dances through the Žalgiris defense and puts the finishing touch with an acrobatic reverse layup. Number 2, Istanbul, Turkey. Montepaschi Siena on the break. Matt Janning goes long to Bobby Brown, who skies for a super jam on his way into the record books. And the number 1 play of the week, Kaunas Lithuania. The perfect way to cap off a big win. Paulius Jankūnas soars for a monster block. Then Rimas Kaukinas beats the buzzer with a running jumper to the delight of the Žalgiris home crowd.
That's it for now, but before we leave you, let's unveil the next game of the week. An insider back where it belongs and an outsider making its top 16 debut meet for the first time ever next Thursday as Caja Laboral Vitoria hosts Besiktas JK Istanbul in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Game of the Week. Caja Laboral pulled back from the brink of elimination just 1 month ago to become a group co-leader after winning its first 2 games in the top 16 against 2 of the competition's biggest names, Olympiacos Piraeus and Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv. Its recent resurgence has fans in Vitoria remembering the team's not-so-distant glory days, when it reached the Final Four every season between 2005 and 2008, the second longest streak in the 25-year history of the Final Fours. But if Caja Laboral has been to the Final Four frequently, none of its players have experienced that thrill yet. One person who knows what it takes to get to the mountaintop is Caja Laboral's new head coach Zan Tabak, who played for the only 3-peat Final Four champion ever, Jugoplastica Split. The path from Spain's 19th largest city to basketball prominence is one that Besiktas, one of the storied sporting clubs of Istanbul, would love to emulate. Veteran coach Erman Kunter, the world record holder for points in a game when he was a player, returned home to show Besiktas the way to the top 16 in its very first EuroLeague season. With a lively playing style paced by the perimeter trio of Curtis Jarrells, Patrick Christopher and Daniel Ewing, Besiktas has made its presence felt this season on the road as much as in Istanbul. No doubt hearing the faraway echoes from the team's legendary fans. So get ready for a night of firsts as the big team from a small city welcomes a rising force from the Turkish metropolis. It's Caja Laboral against Besiktas for the first time ever in the next EuroLeague game of the week.
Turkish Airlines EuroLeague.
I feel